This is Matt for Into Boxing. I'm delighted to welcome back to the UK multi-weight world champion, Olympic medalist, the GOAT, Claressa Shields. Claressa, welcome back. Nice to have you back.
Thank you. And it's Olympic gold medalist. Olympic medalist is somebody that just medaled.
Apologies, sorry. And might I mention, Guinness World Book of Record holder for simultaneously holding two undisputed.
Absolutely.
Have I made up for it with that?
Yeah. I guess you're good.
I spoke to you last time you were in Cardiff. Before we talk about the fight this weekend, talk to me about your trip over here last time. You dazzled you. The fans are excited to see you. How pleased were you with the last trip over here?
It was so much fun. I felt like I got such a warm welcome. And, to fight on the undercard of Chris Eubank and Leon Williams, I kind of felt like I was the main event because the crowd was going crazy when I came out. And they were singing a song that I came out to. They were rapping, they were yelling "Gold" and stuff. I'm like, whoa, it feels like I'm fighting in Flint. But it was fun. And I think I had a great performance. I think it was one of my best performances. Like, I actually felt good. And I'm happy to build off that performance onto my next fight.
Yeah. You spoke to me before the fight and you said that you were working on being more composed in the ring. You said before the fight that you were working on being more composed in the ring after speaking to Floyd, picking your shots, not rushing. You seem to do that all the way through the fight. I noticed a change in you for the first round. You're very calm. When you look back, and think, you know what, that was a really good performance?
It was a great performance, but it was sometimes that I rushed. Like, I would hurt her and then my hands would just start flying at 100 miles per hour. I'm like, no, I wanted to be more settled down, but it's something in here that me and my coaches are working on. We're working on it. To be more composed. It's like I love fighting so much. I love boxing so much. So when I hurt her, it was like, hurt her again, and I just come throwing punches, and it was like, no, settle down and fire the shots. But this is the first time that I actually realized that in my fights, and that my coach pointed out, and he said that's okay because next fight we're going to be able to settle down once I hurt Savannah Marshall and be able to get her out of there. So it was cool, but I was mad at myself because I'm like, you work so hard in camp to stay composed, and look at you.
I think you've been very harsh on yourself, but I think that's it's part of the game, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, I've always been my biggest critic. People have told me that I got an A+ in fights, and then I go back and watch it. I'm like, you guys are batshit crazy. That was not an A. That was not an A+. That was like a C. But I just want to improve and I want to get better. And it's not about knockouts for me, but I know that I possess the power to get knockouts and I possess the skill. It's just having to be pro for a couple years and settle down and not getting so excited, I guess. Yeah,
you mentioned to me that you spar the boys. So I know you went to spar Sandy Ryan, and she spars the boys as well. Do you think that helps prepare you for when you go in there with other fighters?
Well, I would say for me, I get to really test myself. Sparring against women is great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like hurting my sparring partners or women having anything negative to say, because sparring is to work on certain things.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm a fighter who will look at sparring sometimes as a fight. So it's difficult to try to hold back your punches if you're trying to see what kind of shape you're in and everything, when it's like you want to see what you can do and what you can't do. So I like to spar against the men because they keep me more sharp. I use my defense a lot more. I can pick my shots. And it's very, very competitive sparring. But with the women, it's competitive, but I still have to hold back my punch because you don't want to knock out your sparring partner.
No, I'm going to say you need to work, you need to learn. It's a bit difficult for them if you're doing that. Let's come to the fight this weekend. I want to get your opinion. From the outside looking in, obviously, Marshall versus Hermans, do you see any slip-ups, any banana skins in this fight? Or do you think Savannah can get that win and we'll roll on to your mega fight?
I'm hoping that she wins. I'm not here to do anything to make her lose, or I'm not hoping that she loses. Like I want the fight with me and her to happen.
Yeah.
So Femke, like I said, when we fought a few years ago, she was durable, but she was awkward. Sometimes elbows came, sometimes headbutts came. And she's very awkward. She throws and it's like you watch her film, you're like, oh, she's easy to hit. And I was landing punches, but it's like she was just very, very awkward, and we're going to see that tomorrow. But it was a lot of times that I was able to catch her with big shots, hooks, right hands. And, Savannah Marshall, such a knockout puncher, maybe she should be able to knock her out. But if not, I think it'll go all 10 and Marshall should get the decision, I hope.
You mentioned Savannah's power there. everyone when they talk about Savannah seems to talk about the power. Do you buy into that? Do you buy into that at all? Because I know you've mentioned it a few times, and you sort of have a look. What's your take on the whole power thing?
What power are we talking about? No. You can't say somebody has power who hasn't fought against top-notch opponents. Like, who was her Hannah Gabriel she fought against? Her Christina Hammer. An actual opponent who's athletic, strong, and fights at the weight class. No, you can't say that. She fought against 3-day replacements, weeks notice replacements. Who has had a full camp to fight against Savannah Marshall? And she fought against girls with, oh my God, records that even my mom can get in the ring and beat up. 3-25, 6-50. Like I don't know how the commission is even approving fights like that. And she's such a big puncher. And then her last fight was against a girl who was actually had a pretty decent record, but she was a 147-pounder. And it was still last week's notice. So yeah, of course you should knock her out. Yeah.
There's a lot of back and forth between you two now, and we saw that after the fight at the ringside. Do you believe you're in her head a little bit? Do you believe that she goes away and thinks about you?
She thinks about me all the time. She's so mad. She was yelling stuff in her. She was yelling stuff I really didn't understand it, so I went back and watched it. But she was like, "Oh, look at your chain, it's fake. Like, how you even know I got a damn chain? Like, where's your chain?" And like, I just fought. The chain's in the back room. What the hell wrong with you? But this chain cost me $35K, and she's talking about oh, your chain's fake, and you fought a child, and Emma is only 3 years younger than me. Like, it's just weird, and it's like, dude, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? It's like, she want to beat me so bad. Like, she just say all this stuff like, oh, she wouldn't be a 3-time division world champion if I had got the chance. And it's like, well, why didn't you go and fight the girls who I fought? Or why didn't you fight me back in 2018 when we sent you a contract to fight? Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that. So you sent a contract over to fight?
I was champion at 168 first. People forget that. I didn't go up, I went down. So 168 champion, I had 2 belts. We sent her a contract because she was chatting shit, and guess what? They said, oh no, she doesn't want to fight right now. Why? And then all of a sudden, the years went by, and all of a sudden last year, when I signed to do my MMA fights, she just started barking. I really think she thought that I retired from boxing. That's what I really think she thought. So she got comfortable and just started yelling my name and thought she was next up. And I'm like, bitch, I ain't done boxing. I'm just doing something that I wanna do MMA. I wanna challenge myself. But she was just so comfortable, like just yelling my name and saying I retired because of her. I'm scared of her. And it was like, scared of what? Scared of who? And it just blew me. But I've been doing MMA and boxing at the same time. I've had 2 MMA fights and 2 boxing matches. And now I'll be having a third once she wins on Saturday.
Talk to me about that fight specifically then. How do you beat Savannah Marshall? Do you believe you'll be able to go in there, adapt on the fly? Do you believe you knock her out? Do you believe you take her distance? You tell me, how'd you beat her?
I like to take it one round at a time, you know, so I'm going to go in there and do what I do. I think that my skills are impeccable to hers. Honestly, I think that I'm way faster than her. I know I'm way faster than her. I know that I hit way harder than what she's going around telling people. She keeps saying that I got pillow fists, and she gonna get her ass knocked down by these pillow fists and gonna be sleeping on a pillow. Like, literally, like, she is, I don't think she's no match for me. Now, you talk about punching power, you gotta land. And how many times did I get hit by Emma Cozen? How many times did I get hit by Christina Hammer? I'll go ahead and tell you, not a lot. Not a lot. And that's why I'm looking at her. Hopefully, hopefully like she can be competitive. But I'm a thinker in there. I'm going to figure it out. Whatever I got to do. But I'm not threatened by her. But I'm going to tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to train my ass up like I do for every fight. I'm going to run the miles. I'm going to run in the mountains. I'm going to run in the snow. I'm going to make sure that my mental and everything is ready for her. Body, mind, soul, everything. Because I really want her to feel the pain after using my name for fame, to get her to fame for 10 years. I'm gonna make her feel all of that pain, and then she's gonna have a new non-respect for me. Me and her will probably never be friends, but at this point, I don't even care. She's classless. She's a bum. and she fights against other tomato cans. So I'm only here because she kept saying my name. I'm like Candyman. Claressa Shields, Claressa Shields, Claressa Shields, and boom, I pop up and I whoop your ass. That's why I'm here.
Claressa Shields, thanks for giving me some of your time again. It's always a pleasure, and hopefully we can catch up when you both fight.
Of course.